Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday Wisdom Call, happening every Wednesday at 9 o'clock, a little bit after 9, giving time for everybody to get here. My name is Marty Forrest. My website is Hello Extraordinary Life. You can go check out the website, see what I offer. There's a free gift on the landing page, 3 steps to reprogramming your negative self-talk. You can sign up for that, get on the email list, get notifications of all these calls and what the topic is. Also, there's a 6-week course that I'm in the middle of one right now, and there will be another one offered October 13th, I think is the date, right smack in the middle of the month. I think that was the date. And it'll end right before Thanksgiving. So it'll be the next time I run the course for the year. It'll be the last time for this year. Because then we get into holiday stuff. So let's see what else. All these calls are recorded for your listening pleasure. I'm getting more and more of I get the reports from the conference line that I use, and so more and more people are listening to the recordings, which is super cool. Very happy about that people are actually going and listening. So that's pretty awesome. Awesome. Would that be Stacy?
Yeah, but I have you on mute.
Okay, no worries. Welcome to the call. All right, so I just did all my stuff, and we'll get started. I sent out an email talking about, I was very present to the fact of, I've been very present to this plastic, all the plastic on the planet and all the plastic that we use. So I actually went and did some research and looked up some statistics about it. And then I started thinking about what we do to ourselves in our emotional state and how we don't like the feeling and we discard it. Or we cover it up, or we pretend it's not there, and we don't look at it, and we don't want to feel it. And part of our journey here on this human experience, in this human body, is to experience all of it. And many of us, we don't want to. We don't like it. If it doesn't feel good, we don't want to feel it. And so we discard it. And I was making that analogy to the plastic. You know, we get those one-time use bottles, one-time use covering for, let's say, just meat. You open a plastic container and there's another thing, and so it's all discardable, but it's not biodegradable. And the thing about our emotions is they are biodegradable. When we begin to uncover and look and feel and become willing to walk, let's see, I don't want to say that. Feel the things that we don't want to feel. And just feel them. I don't have to do anything about them. I don't have to act on them. I get to feel them. And the more I can feel them, I can begin to start maybe labeling them. I can define them. What am I feeling? And in this world of emotions, there's 2 primary, love and fear, and then it can categorize everything underneath those. There's probably more. They say there's more than 2 primary emotions, but everything can be categorized under love or fear, and we have to know one to know the other. That's the thing about this life. That's the thing about being this human person in this body, is we're in a world of duality. So we have to know what we like, what's not likable, to know what we like, and we know what we like to know what we don't like. It's that dual purpose. We are moving into a higher vibration of stepping into that place of love. And in order to do that, we still get to walk through so that we can release and renew the emotions. Thinking of Mercury, retrograde, and all those reviewing and releasing and rehashing, it feels like sometimes, those old emotions, and it's simply a time to reflect on the things that are showing up in our life, the things that are working in our life, and the things that we get to release in our life. And it's the same with our emotions. So when they're showing up and we're feeling them, I like to write. It's one of the ways I get them outside of me. I talk to someone so I can hear myself and hear what I'm saying, and maybe they can tell me something that I'm not realizing. Maybe I don't know how I'm feeling. I may not know what the feeling is. And so I talk to someone, usually someone I trust, someone that has something I want, someone that deals with their emotions effectively. So I talk to someone that may have a different insight than I do about what's going on. Because my reaction will be anger, generally. That's my first. If it's a negative thing or a heavy thing, it'll be anger, because that's my emotion. Some people go into depression. Some people have anxiety. Some people have tears. They'll show up all kinds of ways. And I was told one time that as deeply as I can feel my anger and my sadness and my grief and all those heavy emotions that were familiar, so either familiar, so sometimes I stay in them, or I'll stay in that place that's comfortable because it's familiar. But as deeply as I can feel those was also as deeply as I could feel love, joy, happiness, passion. I ran out of words right there because those seem to be the big ones. That, holy cow, that scared me. That statement, for as deeply as I could feel my fear, my anger, my grief, was as deeply as I could feel love, joy, happiness. But I didn't know how to feel those at the depth that I could feel my anger and my rage and my grief and my fear. That place was very comfortable. It's very familiar. I hear this statement, I can feel love just as deeply. Holy smokes, that's way foreign to me. Way foreign. I have no idea what that even looks or feels like because I haven't experienced it. Learning how to allow that in requires us to be able to walk through the other side of it, allow it to move out, right? Emotions take up residence in our body. And like the great, the garbage patch, they say it's twice the size of Texas. I fathom that. Texas is a huge state. But it's where the garbage pools, and I thought, oh, that's what I do with my emotions when I don't want to feel them. I start sticking them in the garbage patch. And then it grows and it grows and it grows until it has to come out somewhere. Now, when I start cleaning that out, it's just a little bit at a time. It's not like that they're all going to come at one time. But if I will allow myself to feel them, and start to identify what I'm feeling or not. Sometimes I don't even have to. I just have to go, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling something. And then I can do some deep breathing. There's one way to do this, is do some really deep breathing and allow it to move like energy. Just allow the energy to move. Open your feet. Imagine your feet are rooted in the ground and you're allowing that energy to move out of your feet. Or maybe it's stuck in your head and you open the top of your head. Imagine, just like there's a door, you just open the top of your head and allow that energy to move out. Then it has room for something else to come in. Now, we have a set point. When I'm talking about the depth of my anger and my fear and my grief, so that I can feel that, there's a set point of comfortable. And if I'm comfortable, let's say at the temperature is at 78, when you set the gauge on your thermostat, and if it gets 1 degree above, it comes back to 78. It gets 1 degree below, it comes back to 78. That's how the thermostat works to keep it steady, the steady temperature. It's the same as our emotional state. We have a set point, of what we've allowed because it's what we know. So if I get too high above or below, I'm going to come back to my comfort level. On whatever side of the emotions it is. Doesn't matter what it is. So here we're raising the set point. Call it raising the set point. We're raising the bar in our life to be able to feel more. More deeply any of the emotions. I know how to be angry and afraid. I know how to do those really well. What I didn't know how to do was love and have joy in my life and have peace in my heart. I didn't know how to do those things. So I called it, one of my friends called it free falling. We free fall, we jump off that ledge, off that cliff, and we free fall into the emotion. And it feels scary because it's unfamiliar. And I know we talk about, just jump and your wings will carry you. And, well, what if I hit the ground? There's no safety net. What if I hit the ground? That's never happened. Not in my life. Not by my perspective. Some people might say they did hit the ground. I don't know. In my world, I didn't hit the ground. I learned how to fly because I really wanted to be different, and I wanted to experience different than I had my whole life. So it's taking that risk and being willing to step into that arena of emotions that we generally don't want to feel because we've been hurt. As children, in the womb, we've been hurt. So we get that protection that shows up, the protector, our ego, our whatever that is that you want to call it, and we do whatever it takes to protect that perceived hurt or the real hurt, whatever it is, try to protect it. So it takes that willingness and that courage to be able to open the heart a little bit, to feel both sides, and the willingness to step through. You hear people say, walk through the fear. Well, what the fuck does that mean? It means feel it. It means feel it. And don't do anything with it. Just feel it until it changes. And it does. I had someone tell me one time I became enraged. I was watching something on TV, and it was about animals, and it was this unexpected part of the program we didn't know was even there, and I went into a rage. And rather than feel it, it terrified me that I could be that angry that I wanted to hurt somebody. It terrified me. And so I walked away. I walked away and I shut it down. Whoops, nope. I cannot feel that. It's not safe to feel that. I'm going to hurt somebody if I feel it, or I might hurt myself if I feel that. And someone said, just feel it. Feel it and walk through it and allow it to, because by walking through the feeling allows it to dissipate. Shutting it down, it doesn't go anywhere. It just stays inside of me until it shows up again. And I'm out of control again until I shut it down again. So they walk through it. Feel it. Don't do anything with it. Just feel it. That's it. I didn't like the answer. But I did it. I sat and I felt it the next time it showed up. Until I was on the other side of it. And by feeling it all and walking to the other side of it and emotional about it, I was able to move through it and allow it to leave my body. And the next time I see something like that, I just look at it and go, oh, yeah, I remember that feeling. And then I move on. Love is the same way. When we feel that elated feeling of love, it's the same way. and then we get scared of it, and then we shut it down. Oh, nope. I might get hurt if I allow myself to feel that much love or that much joy or that much happiness. The same thing. Allowing ourselves to feel it all the way through. And then building on that. Let's build on that part. Right? It's because we can build on either side. We can generate more of the emotion. Let's generate more of that love feeling because we were willing to walk through it, and we were willing to feel it, and we were willing to take the risk to open our heart and allow more in. Because both sides are scary when they're unfamiliar, fear or love. So moving into that new vibration of love that's so unfamiliar because we know the other place really well. We visit there often. When we come into that love place, it can be just as scary. So it's the same principle, allowing ourselves to feel it all the way through. And then continue, right? Continue building on that. Because that's the place that feels really good. When the fear shows up, we can acknowledge it and allow it to move and clear. When the love shows, we can feel it and allow it to stay, keep building it, because that makes us healthier and happier and more joyful. And I think I'll stop there. Is that helpful? Are you both muted?
There, I'm unmuted. It's Lisa. It makes a lot of sense. It's not comfortable sitting there and letting the feeling pass, so it's very uncomfortable.
Yes.
But I'm trying to practice that today. So.
Yes. It's a good practice.
Yes. Because hopefully we end up with different outcomes instead of our normal reactions.
Absolutely true. We do.
Because I'm tired of repeating this stuff, personally.
I hear you, sister. I do.
Let's move on to a new lesson. Thanks.
Yes, we are never done. That is true. I remember that. If you want something different, do something different. And even when I thought I was doing something different, I picked the same kind of guy. Because on the front side of it, it looked different. Once I got in it, it wasn't different. Because I wasn't really looking. I was really seeing what I wanted to see. And it appeared to be different. So, that visual of the spiral where we aren't redoing the same thing over and over and over. We're going to deeper layers. We're going to deeper layers of the feelings and the gifts that come out of it. And we're getting there a lot faster. And we're bringing all the tools along that we've gathered along the way. That was helpful for me to realize I was gathering tools along the way, and each time the timeline got shorter for the duration I was in any kind of situation that seemed to be a repeat. Stacey, I know you're muted. Anything that you want to... No, she just hung up.